I found the perfect spot for our new family photo, right in the main hallway where I'd see it every day. It was a beautiful picture, taken just last summer. All of us were there, Mum, Dad, my older sister Sarah, and me, all smiling under the warm sun. It was a happy memory, frozen in time, or so I thought. I hung it up, gave it a little tap to make sure it was straight, and went about my day. The first time I noticed something was off. It was subtle. I was heading to the kitchen for a glass of water late that evening. As I passed the photo, the hallway light caught it just right. I paused. Sarah's smile, it seemed wider than I remembered, almost unnaturally so, stretching just a bit too far at the corners of her mouth. I shook my head, blaming it on the dim lighting and my tired eyes. It was just a trick of the shadows. I walked on, dismissing the strange feeling creeping up my spine. The next morning, the unease returned. I stopped in front of the photo again, the bright morning sun flooding the hallway. This time, I couldn't deny it. Sarah's smile was definitely wider. It wasn't just wide. It was a grotesque, painful-looking grin that didn't reach her eyes. Her eyes, in fact, looked scared. I leaned closer, my heart starting to pound a little faster. This wasn't right. I even pulled up the original photo on my phone. On my screen, her smile was normal, cheerful. But on the wall, it was a silent scream. I felt a chill despite the warmth of the sun. I told myself it must be a printing error, a weird chemical reaction in the photo paper. There had to be a logical explanation. That day, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Nothing else seemed different. Just Sarah's horrifying smile. I tried to convince myself I was overreacting, maybe even imagining it, but the image was burned into my mind. A strange compulsion drew me out of my room and back to the hallway. I flicked on the light, my hand trembling slightly. Now, it was my father. His eyes, normally a warm, gentle brown, were now two pools of solid, glistening black. There were no whites, no irises, just voids. They stared out from the photo with a chilling emptiness, a complete absence of life or emotion. And next to him, Sarah's smile had stretched even wider, her teeth looking too long, too sharp. I stumbled back, my hand flying to my mouth to stifle a gasp. This was not a printing error. This was not a trick of the light. Something was fundamentally wrong with this picture. I wanted to tear it off the wall, rip it to shreds, burn it. But I was frozen, mesmerized by the horror unfolding in that simple frame. It felt like if I looked away, something even worse would happen. I forced myself to go back to bed, but sleep was impossible. I lay there staring at the ceiling, the image of my father's black eyes and my sister's monstrous grin replaying over and over in my mind. What was happening? Was I losing my mind? The house was silent, but it felt heavy, oppressive, like the air itself was watching me. The third day was hell. I avoided the hallway as much as possible, taking the long way around through the living room to get to the kitchen. But I couldn't avoid it forever. That evening, I had to go to my room. Steeling myself, I took a deep breath and walked down the hall, my eyes fixed on the floor. I told myself not to look. Don't look, but I couldn't help it. My head turned as if pulled by an invisible string, and I screamed. This time, the change was about me. In the photo where I should have been standing between my mum and dad, there was nothing, just an empty space. I was gone, erased. The background behind where I stood was perfectly visible, the trees, the blue skies. If I was never there at all. My heart hammered against my ribs, so hard I thought it might break. My family was still in the photo, my mother now looking pale and terrified, my father with his soulless black eyes, and my sister with a smile that split her face. They were trapped in there, and I had been removed. But that wasn't the worst part. I leaned in closer, my whole body shaking uncontrollably. In the empty space where I was supposed to be, the glossy surface of the photo was marred. There were smudges, fingerprints, 5 distinct prints, pressed into the paper, from the inside. They were pushing out, as if something, or someone, was trying to break through the surface of the photograph from within that empty space. I finally ripped the photo off the wall, the hook tearing a gash in the wallpaper. I didn't care. I threw it face down on the floor and ran into my room, slamming and locking the door behind me. I slid down to the floor, hyperventilating. What did it mean? Was it a warning? Was something coming for me? The fingerprints, were they mine? Was that my ghost, trapped inside the picture, trying to get out? Or was it something else? Something that had taken my place? I stayed locked in my room for hours, listening, Every creak of the house, every rustle of leaves outside my window sent a fresh wave of terror through me. Sometime after midnight, I heard it. A soft, scraping sound coming from the hallway. Scrape, pause, scrape. It was the sound of a picture frame being dragged across the floor. I held my breath, listening. The scraping stopped right outside my bedroom door. Silence. A thick, heavy silence that felt more terrifying than any noise. Then a soft tapping. Tap, tap, tap on my door. It was slow, deliberate. My blood ran cold. I knew I shouldn't answer it. I knew whatever was out there wasn't my family. Then a voice, distorted and thin, whispered from the other side. It sounded like my own voice, but stretched and warped, like a recording played too slowly. "Let me in," it whispered. "It's cold out here. We miss you in the photo." I didn't answer. I just sat there, crying silently, huddled against the far wall of my room. The tapping continued for what felt like an eternity before it finally stopped. I don't know when I fell asleep, but when I woke up, sunlight was streaming through my window. The house was quiet. Hesitantly, I unlocked my door and peered out. The hallway was empty. The photo was gone. There was just the torn wallpaper and the empty hook, mocking me. I searched the entire house. The photo had vanished. It was as if it never existed. My parents and my sister were downstairs, acting completely normal. They asked me if I was okay, said I looked pale. I asked them about the family photo, the one from last summer. They just looked at me, confused. "What photo?" my dad asked. "We haven't taken a family picture together in years." My blood turned to ice. They had no memory of it. No memory of the photo shoot. No memory of me hanging it on the wall. It wasn't just the photo that was gone. The memory itself had been erased from their minds. To this day, I don't know what happened. Was it a hallucination, a waking nightmare, or did something truly supernatural happen in my home? Sometimes, when I walk down that hallway, I can still see the faint outline of the frame on the wall, and when the light hits it just right, I think I can see faint smudges on the wallpaper, right where the photo used to be, like fingerprints, pressing through from the other side. I never walk down that hallway at night anymore. I'm too afraid of what I might see, or what might be waiting for me, wanting to put me back in the picture. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more chilling tales. Stay safe out there.